Okay, the hour being 7 o'clock, we will get started. This is the Redevelopment Agency of Tooele City, meeting in a business meeting Wednesday, September 20th at 7 o'clock here in Tooele City Hall Council Chambers. It's also being streamed on our YouTube channel. We'll start this meeting with a roll call. Board Member McCall.
Present.
Board Member Hanson.
Present.
Board Member Brady.
Present.
I am Board Member Manzio, and I'm also present, and we would excuse Board Member Graff from this meeting. First item on our agenda is Resolution 2023-09, a resolution of the Redevelopment Agency of Tooele City, Utah, approving an agreement with Broken Arrow for the Leitner-Poma Power and Sewer Realignment Project, presented by Jared Stewart, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Council. It's so exciting to see everyone here for this agenda item, I'm sure. So, as you know, we sold 25 acres of property to Leitner-Poma just south of Tooele Technical College. As part of that, it was important that a power line that went right through the middle of that property be relocated and moved to the side of the property so that they could utilize that for their new buildings they'll create. So this resolution is to approve the work that will actually move that power line and the sewer line that goes under their property that fortunately wasn't really being utilized anyways. It was mostly empty. So this project, I do need to note that we have one of our easements ready. We're negotiating the second portion of the easement that this power line needs to go with the owner of Tooele Valley Pumping, right? And so we're still working on what that easement will look like exactly. He's concerned about some impacts to this property with an easement, right? We want to make sure that, he needs to be satisfied before he gives us an easement as well. So in this resolution, it asks, it's for the project, is for $143,278, which we got 3 bids on the project, and that was $100,000 lower than the second lowest bid. So it's a great bid from Broken Arrow, and we are confident they'll do good work. We are a little concerned that with the easement, we might have to bore underneath Tooele Valley Pumping's concrete drive approach rather than go around it like we would like to. That might add extra cost boring rather than going around it. The 5% contingency that's in this resolution may not be enough for that. If we changed it to a 15% contingency, that would give us, I show $21,000 rather than like a $5,000 in contingency. I want to put that for your consideration. Maybe that might be prudent to, we will keep our costs as low as we can and keep negotiating with Tooele Valley Pumping on that, but it might be prudent to consider changing that to a different number of contingency just to be, or we could bring it back, right? That's the other option, right? If it heads higher, then we can bring it back too. So
that's my question. Is there a rush to get this approved right away to get something done for a timeline?
Weather, the season, right? They'd like to, I don't think it will particularly impact Leitner-Poma if we wait, a month or something, but, the weather and the seasons are changing. So it'd be great to get the project done. I don't know. I think probably be good to do it sooner rather than later, but I think kind of up to you as council.
I think that'd be the first time we've increased the contingency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a hard time with that, yeah.
I
I think you'd want the easement done before you approved it myself. If I was doing it just for personal, I would want it. I don't know.
And we thought we would have the easement done. It's just been a longer process negotiating that
I
than we
understand why
anticipated.
that happens, but.
Any other questions?
No, I'm okay with it.
Okay, well, we do need to approve something, so if anybody has an inkling to make a motion.
Then we can always bring it back.
So what if we approve it and
So-
you come back if there's an increase? Just for the increase?
Correct.
Yeah. And we approved what this is with the regular 5% contingency, and then if you need more money, you just come back and say, well, this happened, so, because we've done that before on things,
Yeah.
where something's cost more. So you come in 2 weeks back or a month after you got that figured out.
Yeah, adjusting the.
For the difference, you know?
Yeah, adjusting
I'm
the
more comfortable with
contingency
that.
would just keep it from, needing to be
Yeah.
reviewed again and make it go faster potentially. But
Sure.
I understand
I'm
what
more
you're saying.
comfortable, I'm
Yeah.
more comfortable with that.
when do you potentially see this beginning? I mean, where are you at in the negotiations?
So we can have Broken Arrow, the plan is to have them do the sewer part first, right? So it could be 3 weeks from now, 2 or 3 weeks from now if they do the sewer first, before they would do the power. I'm going to call Caleb and tomorrow and be talking through it. So we had some good discussions as staff and with the mayor today about that, and we think we'll work it out with them. We're comfortable and confident that we will work out the easement.
Sure.
So it's mostly timing, like getting us back together to approve it if it comes back to us.
I think so.
Just so that you are aware, when we started this project and had all the drawings done, we had a verbal agreement from the owner of Twila Valley Pumping to grant that easement. But after he thought about it more, he said, I'm a little bit worried about how this will impact me and where I want to put buildings or what I want to do. And so we had already put this out to bid, and it was really just today that we found out that he would not sign the agreement yet. He's going to let it go as an easement, but now he just thinks he may want to have us bore under there, and it was too late to get an additional price from Broken Arrow as to what it would cost to bore instead of going around.
Makes sense. Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 2023-09.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Board Member Brady and seconded by Board Member McCall to approve Resolution 2023-09 as presented. We'll take that to a vote. Board Member McCall?
Aye.
Board Member Hanson?
Aye.
Board Member Brady?
Aye.
And Board Member Manzione, I also vote aye.
Okay.
Passes for nothing.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. And next on our agenda are the minutes from the July 19th, 2023 RDA business meeting. Hopefully everybody's read through those, and if there aren't any changes, I would accept a motion to approve them.
Madam Chair, I make a motion we approve the minutes as they are.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Board Member Hanson, seconded by Board Member Brady to approve the minutes from July 19th. Board Member McCall, how do you vote?
Aye.
Board Member Hanson?
Aye.
Board Member Brady?
Aye.
And Board Member Manzione, I also vote aye. It passes 4-0, and that will adjourn our RDA meeting. Thank you.
All right, the hour being 7:08 PM on Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. The Twila City Council is meeting in a business meeting being held in the Twila City Council chambers located at 90 North Main Street. This is also being broadcast on the Twila City YouTube channel. We will start with our first agenda item, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please rise and repeat after me. Thank you. Our second item is a roll call. Councilwoman Manzione,
Present?
Councilman Hanson,
Present.
Councilman McCall.
Present.
I'm Councilman Brady. I'm also present, and will excuse Councilman Graff from this meeting. Our third item is the Mayor's Community Recognition Awards. We'll turn the time over to Mayor Nguyen.
Thank you, Chairman and Council. And now I know that you just saw a very part of an exciting part of the meeting with a resolution and how that all works with the city. But I want you to know that that is really not the most favorite part of, or at least the fun part of our city council meetings. It is this next item that is the favorite part for all of us. Tonight, the Tooele City Mayor's Community Recognition Award is being given out and given to two wonderful, wonderful people that are in our community, Al and Bonnie Berger. Al and Bonnie, will you please come up and join me here at the podium? Give them a round of applause. Welcome them. I'm going to read this. This nomination was by Jessica Dunn, who is an employee at our Twila City Library, and she said, Jessica met Al and Bonnie through the Twila City Library. Jessica said that Al and Bonnie are constantly supporting the community whenever they can. Al creates buttons and hands them out to everyone he meets just to bring a smile to their face. Bonnie helps him with the technical side of this and knows everyone in this wonderful city. Jessica is yet to have them attend a class at the library where they didn't walk in knowing at least one other person attending and always greets them with enthusiastic smiles and hugs. This couple spends their time helping at the senior center, inspiring those around them, volunteering at their church, and encouraging people at the library to learn technology. Al and Bonnie enjoy getting to know their neighbors and become like family with everyone when they come in contact with them. Every time Jessica meets with this amazing couple, they are talking about cooking something for a neighborhood party, going to help set up an activity at the senior center, creating a new item to help new acquaintances remember loved ones that are no longer with them, and so much more. Despite all of the challenges that are going on in their lives, this couple provides all their energy to help build this community up and make it a stronger, happier place to be. This is so very true. As you see, I have a button. This has been in my purse for a little over a year. I wear it once in a while. I need to wear it every single day. This was given to me by Al a little over a year ago. It says, "Be kind." That's what these people represent. I do have another button too that says, "Thank you to our veterans." I got that in my purse too. And then I think you're just going to just love this. I go up once a month to the senior center and talk to them. I used to work at the senior center. I miss them. But I go up once a month and answer questions and just really enjoy my time there. Right after COVID, we finally was over that we could go back. I have a microphone that I, of course, hold so that everyone can hear me. And Al gave me this cover. It goes over a microphone because he didn't want me to get sick. So I, of course, carry that in my purse, too, and put it on that microphone when I go talk. That's just a little extra of you just know that they care about people. And Al is, this is a couple, Al and Bonnie. It's just Al and Bonnie. So we appreciate them very much, and please help give them a round of applause and thank them for their efforts to make our community better. You.
Oh, thank you.
And I have for you a certificate, and I'm going to give you that one I read tonight. And if you'll stay here for just a moment, would you guys please stand and come back here? And we're going to get a picture. So this can go in our newsletter and also in our local newspaper.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. We'll move on to our next item, which is a Dow James Memorial presentation.
Council, if you're okay, I'm going to kind of face the audience here. So about a year and a half ago, I began some initial discussions with the Dow and the James families about a permanent memorial at our Dow James building to recognize the sacrifice made by their family members just over 48 years ago. Many people in this community participate in activities at the Dow James building, the Dow James Park, the Dow James Ball Field, which now belongs to the Twila County School District, and young men play on that field. That whole area is named in honor of these two men who sacrificed their life in a fire, like I say, 48 years ago. A proper memorial had never been constructed, and we felt that it was time to do that. And of course, whenever we attempt a project like this, we cannot do it alone. Just a few people cannot do it. We have to reach out to our community to make it happen. So as you can see, this is what the memorial drawing originally looked like. It has a picture of both Lauren and Danny on the memorial. It's a beautiful memorial. If you have not had the opportunity to get down to the park and see that, you've really got to do that. But I want you to know that we first reached out to our community and asked for donations, and it took a short amount of time to raise enough money to purchase the memorial and at least get it ordered, in thanks to some more individuals and businesses that helped us. So tonight, what I wanted to do is give recognition, a special recognition to special people, and it's hard to single people out because anybody that donated just financially made this happen, but I felt like it was necessary. So tonight, we're going to recognize some sponsors and some that gave of their time. Geneva Rock donated the concrete that was needed to put around where the memorial was placed, and they donated over 20 yards of concrete to us. The Tooele Valley, or Tooele Volunteer Fire Department Association, which is a nonprofit organization made up of our volunteer firefighters. The association and also the members of the fire department were instrumental in making this happen. I know that most of you are probably under the age of 48, so you probably weren't even born before this incident happened, but they were still your brothers, and you knew that. They were part of your family. And you stepped up to make this happen, so they conducted several fundraisers and also collected those funds through their charitable organization so that the people could get a deduction on their taxes for making that donation. They worked so hard. As you can see right here, this is some of the volunteers pouring the concrete and getting this ready to go. And what happened was we were getting very close to the date that we were going to dedicate this, and we didn't have the concrete down. Our Parks Director, Darwin Cook, drew the design of a Maltese cross, which is a sign to our firefighters of their loyalty and their service. And these volunteers worked tirelessly. They had just over 4 weeks to get this done, and of course we had some rain in between there that didn't help us either. But this couldn't just all be done one night. So let me let you know that these volunteers, they not only worked their shifts of wherever their real daily jobs are, or nightly jobs, because I know they work at night too. They had several fire calls during this amount of time, and yet they still showed up to work hard to get this concrete done on time. Our next couple of sponsors here, Rocky Mountain Power and Twila County, they each gave us a donation of $2,500 cash, which was very, very important and grateful. I'm always worried that I'm going to leave somebody out, but I want you to know that Nate Remington with C&G gave a lot of time and effort and the use of their machinery to get the site ready and to get this concrete laid, as well as Weston Jensen with LeGrand Jensen used his own personal equipment. He not only serves as a firefighter, has his own business, a firefighter, but he also serves on our planning commission. Andrews Custom Concrete donated a lot of time and effort, not only with the owner, but with his crews to make sure this got done. And I mean, literally, they were pouring concrete the day before to get this done. The Bit and Spur organization not only gave cash donations, but also allowed for fundraisers at their rodeos. Again, Christensen and Griffith donated the use of several pieces of their equipment to make this happen. England Construction designed the base that the monument sits on. Ensign, and they donated that labor to put that in. Ensign Engineering designed that, had to withhold the monument itself. Tate Mortuary and the Cole Houghton family, they ordered and did this monument at cost. There was no money made by this business, and it was a lot of hard work to meet with the families, get it designed, get it ordered, make sure it was right, and then they were there to help to make sure that we had the materials and the equipment to place the monument. They were there that day. Thank you, Cole. And, of course, I think that's Andy, isn't it? So Andrew's Custom Concrete, the owner is Andy Byers, who I know worked hard all day and then didn't leave until it was ready to go. There were several of the firefighters that were there also, and I'm not going to name any more names except our chief. He made this happen by his leadership. He also used his own equipment. The Lauren Dow family and the Danny James families and all of the other people that donated money to make this happen. Our next one, I think, is the picture of the monument. And can you see how beautiful that design is with the cross and the colored concrete? They all just made this happen the day that we dedicated this. We had over 100 people there in attendance, and the families were very grateful for this recognition. For those of you who may not know this story and what happened, the sacrifice given by these two gentlemen, the entire story is on our website. So we would ask if you would like to read that whole story, please go to our website. But please take a moment and go down, read the words on the monument, and then remember, the monument is to recognize these two, but it is also to remind us of the volunteer that we have in our community, because we are so blessed to live in a community that cares about each other and takes care of each other. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Nguyen. We'll move on to item 5, which is our public comment period. This is the time for the public to come and address the council. We ask that you state your name into the microphone. You keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and then you sign the paper that's over by Holly. The time is now the public's. I think they're all going the wrong way.
The fun part's over.
Yeah. Okay, seeing no one come forward, I will close the public comment period, and we'll move on to item 6, which is a Small Business Development Center presentation. This is presented by Jess Clifford, the SBDC Director of the Tooele Region.
Thank you. It's good to be with you again, and to take this opportunity to report on our activities for the last year. I, of course, want to thank the council in Tooele City for the support that you give our center, so that we can make a difference in the lives of people that are trying to run small businesses, and especially right now, those that are trying to start small businesses and to seek that funding. That's important to be able to do that, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do without you, so thank you very much. If we could, we'll go ahead to the first slide. We'll just kind of show you what we've done so far. Okay, it's got a mind of its own today. Here we go. Oh, well, we may land there in a minute, but I'm going to tell you what that slide says. First, just wanted to bring to your attention that this year, to date, And I say that because we're on a fiscal year, and yet we measure this on calendar years, so it's a little different. But to date, we've served 73 businesses for this year, and in one-on-one counseling. And that accounts for 182 hours of counseling that we've rendered. The economic impact of our activity has brought 2.4 million, a little over 2.4 million in cash infusion or impact. So that's loans that have been obtained, grants that have been obtained. And I do want to mention that none of that is COVID money this year. So that's really kind of exciting. And this is mostly investment capital to help businesses start. And of that, 2.1 million, almost 2.2, was in capital infusion, and 211,000 of that was in new sales. So that's above and beyond sales that already exist. And these numbers are all reported by the businesses themselves. So we're kind of at the mercy of that response, and we survey our clients and hope that they'll respond. But that's what we know so far. Let's see, is there one back maybe? I wanted to take a minute to kind of show you a little bit about the companies that we've helped this year. Many of these are small businesses. Several of them I'm sure you'll recognize. We're really excited, particularly about Tooele Gymnastics Academy. They are also our Small Business of the Year that we've submitted to the state for recognition. So that's really noteworthy there. And but these are just a small sampling of those 73 businesses that we've worked with this year. Also wanted to call to your attention that we've created, or these businesses rather, have created 28 new jobs in the city and county, and 21 business startups have occurred. 6 of those were in Grantsville. The lion's share of them, of the rest, are here in Tooele City, and I'll tell you that about half of the businesses that we've served are cottage industry and micro businesses. So these are people that are working out of their home. And that seems to be a really popular way to go right now, in that a number of people that we work with are facing credit challenges. They're facing some real difficulty generating the capital that they need to get started. And so we find a lot of bootstrapping happening there. And so that's just a quick report on our activity. I wanted to, can the next slide work? Try. Okay, this is some initiatives that we're following at the SBDC right now. We're offering Smart Start classes again now, post-COVID. This is a class for the public, and we also offer them to students to basically give a quick overview. It's about a 2-hour class, and we tell people how to start a business, how to file it, and what the critical systems and areas are that you need to keep an eye on and manage. We talk about those in order to make the business work and make it profitable. And so it's a basic class that we offer, and we will be seeking an opportunity to offer some of those this next year here at the city building, if that would be possible, just so that more people can have access to it again. And this was something that we were doing before the pandemic as well. So we're excited to see that come back. We have an initiative called the Level 2. This is in conjunction with SBDCs in Davis County, in Ogden, and also in Orem. And it's training and counseling designed for businesses that have been in the business longer than 5 years and that have over 5 employees. And so these are small businesses that have passed the adolescence, if you will, of being in business, and they've got different challenges, different questions. And so we're starting this initiative together to be able to address those growth challenges and things that those businesses need to work on. And then the Wildcat Microloan Fund is in conjunction with Weber State University. And this is a program which comes with a $3,000 mini grant that businesses go through for a period of weeks, and then they pitch their business. And so the idea is to teach them how to present that business for funding. And it also comes with some money that they can use to get started, and it's strictly for startups. And then finally, we've got the Entrepreneurial Academy that's online now through the SBDC Utah. This is really exciting because this website allows someone to come in at their own pace and learn anything they want to about managing and starting a small business. And it's very sophisticated. It's got intelligent quizzes and tutorials. Professional video throughout, and it's self-serve and offered to every one of our clients the moment we start working with them. So they all get a login and access to that system. And it's great because we've found that because our center right now is a one-man center, this allows us to get to a lot more people quickly and to meet that demand a little better than we've been able to do with the bandwidth that we have. I've also included on the report before you that a little bit about our custom fit initiative at Tooele Technical College. We served 30 employer groups last year, which constituted 517 people that went through training that we helped to pay for. That was a combined 11,560 hours of training, and custom fit invested $436,000 and a half. To that effort. So that training is coming online, and so much so that the legislature actually granted more money to Tooele specifically because of all the activity that's going on. And so we're really excited about that too. I can just report to you that small business is booming, and there's a lot of interest and a lot of grit in terms of people that are willing to just do what they've got to do to get started. And I'm really surprised by that, quite frankly, with some of the other pressures that exist in the economy right now, but it doesn't seem to be having a dampening effect at all. So that's a quick overview of what we've done this year. I do want to also mention that our MOU with the city is sunsetting this year. We've had a 5-year understanding with you, and we have submitted to Mayor Wynn a revised agreement for the next 5 years. Tooele City, as you know, has invested $15,000 a year into our center, and we're asking starting next year if that could increase to $20,000, simply because of our cost increases and the fact that SBDC Utah is unable to give more funding at all. And so we're looking to our partners to help us make up that difference. But we've submitted that, and we offer that also for your consideration. Are there any questions? I know I just kind of said a lot real quick. Okay. I hope that you'll see value in what we're doing. We have a great relationship here with the business licensing office here with the city. And we get referrals from you weekly of people that have business questions, and that we send over here. We've got a very good working relationship, and the city shares those lists with us each month. And we send out mailings and outreach to anybody that gets a business license to congratulate them and let them know what we have, and the fact that it's free to them, that we don't charge for what we do. So again, we're grateful for your support, and we hope that we can continue to deliver that value, and if there's anything that we can do to increase that, we'd like to know. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. All right, we'll move on to item 7, which is a public hearing and motion on ordinance 2023-36, an ordinance of Tooele City amending Tooele City Code Section 7-16-4, Table 2, Table of Development Standards for Maximum Building Heights of the Industrial Zoning District. This is presented by Andrew Agard, the Community Development Director.
Thank you, Chairman Brady, members of the City Council. This zoning ordinance amendment originated with a company known as Geofortis. They're a company that specializes in providing additives to make concrete. And they requested that the city consider amending their code to allow accessory storage silos and so forth to exceed the 70-foot height restriction in the industrial zones up to 100 feet. They desire to build more storage capacity on their site, and rather than do two 70-foot tall buildings, they could do one 100-foot tall building and save some resources there. This is the existing GeoFortis site, and those are 70-foot tall silos on the site currently. And this proposed text amendment wouldn't just apply to GeoFortis' site, but to any property that bears the industrial zone, which are largely located west of the railroad and on the west side of Tooele City, north of 1000 North. So this request would just affect properties on the west side of the city. They provided this graphic showing how a 100-foot tall silo would appear. It wouldn't be pink like that, but it does convey the idea of how big the structure is, how tall it would appear. And then this is GeoFortis from Utah Avenue. You can see the 70-foot storage silos there, and then with the addition of the 100-foot storage silos. This gives a pretty good indication of how a 100-foot tall silo would appear. So what is involved in the text amendment? We're proposing amendments to our table of commercial uses. The first amendment, you'll note on the building height section, it just includes C note H. So the reader, or the individual looking for the information, would just come to this table, see C note H, and go down to the bottom of the table, and it would find note H, which states, storage silos involving the storage of non-flammable, non-hazardous materials may be permitted a maximum building height of 100 feet with a conditional use permit. Silo building height should be measured from finished grade to the midpoint of silo roof pitch or top of silo wall, whichever is greater. Tooele City Fire Department shall verify that materials to be stored are non-flammable and non-hazardous as part of the conditional use permit process. So when an application comes in to construct one of these 100-foot tall storage silos or storage tanks, staff would automatically route that request to the fire department to verify the materials are appropriate for storage before we would issue notice for the public hearing with the Planning Commission. So that's why we inserted that text into this note, to make sure that we have fire department buy-off before we approve a storage silo of this size. So that is the text amendment that's being requested. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Any questions or comments?
At Planning Commission, the questions that came up were in regards to fire suppression, so I think that's a good addition. No.
Yes, and GeoFortis did state, if we go back to their, again, this will apply to all the industrial zones, but GeoFortis was kind of the organization that was behind pushing this forward. You can see they have a stairway running up the side of that tower. They proposed to do that with the 100-foot and provide access to the top of it. And then I forgot to mention that the Planning Commission did hold a public hearing at their August 23rd meeting. They did vote to recommend approval to the City Council by a vote of 6-1. So.
Any other questions or comments? All right, this is a public hearing, so we will open the time up to the public. We ask that you state your name into the mic, keep your comments at 3 minutes or less, and then sign the roll over there. Seeing no one come forward for the public comment period, I will close the public comment period and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2023-36, an ordinance of Tooele City amending Tooele City Code Section 7-16-4, Table 2 of Development Standards for Maximum Building Heights in the Industrial Zoning District.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman Hanson and a second from Councilwoman Manzione, I think I heard first. All right, we'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 8 is a public hearing and motion on ordinance 2023-38, an ordinance of Tooele City reassigning the zoning for approximately .24 acres of property located at 215 South, 200 East from R17 residential to MU 2023-G Mixed Use General, presented by Andrew Agard.
Thank you, Chairman Brady. You're probably familiar with this property as they recently went through the land use map amendment process and amended the property to mixed use. That was done in order to facilitate discussion and consideration on changing the zoning map to the mixed-use general. This is the property that's in question. It's an existing non-residential dental structure. It was operated as a dental office for many years until the owner decided to retire. It has since lost its legal non-conforming status, and that places this building in a fairly unique situation because it is not a residential structure. However, the zoning is R17 and permits only residential uses other than home occupations. And the applicant has had numerous businesses that were interested in utilizing this existing structure for business purposes. And in order to remove the legally non-conforming restrictions attached to the building and to provide a little more flexibility to the property owner to utilize this building for commercial purposes, he has submitted this application to rezone to mixed-use general. This is the aerial photograph showing the location. It's just north of the church building and then to the east of the Tooele Community Center. The existing zoning, as I mentioned, is R17, as are the surrounding properties. However, the property to the west is currently zoned mixed-use general. So if the zoning map were to be approved, or excuse me, as I mentioned, the land use map was recently amended to MU, which makes way for the mixed-use general zone. And then this is how the zoning map would appear if the zoning request is approved. So that's the nature of the request for this zoning map amendment. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Any questions or comments? Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
This is also a public hearing, so the time is now the public's with the rules previously stated. Seeing no one come forward, I will close the public comment period and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2023-38 as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall and a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 9 is Resolution 2023-76, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement for mutual aid fire protection, special emergency operations, and wildland fire responses between Tooele County and Tooele City. This is presented by Matt McCoy, the fire chief.
Good evening, Council. Tonight we're asking your approval for an agreement, a mutual aid agreement between Tooele City Fire and Tooele County Fire Department. This is a little bit different than our conventional mutual aid agreements with the special emergency operations, hazmat, and wildland fire responses. In the way of that there is no monetary obligation from Tooele City. However, Tooele County will reimburse Tooele City for services up to a set amount. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve Resolution 2023-76, approving an agreement for mutual aid fire protection, special emergency operations, and wildland fire responses between Tooele County and Tooele City.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Manzione, a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 10 is Resolution 2023-77, a resolution of the Tooele City Council amending the Tooele City fee schedule regarding nuisance civil citation appeal fees. This is presented by Adrian Day, the Tooele City Police Chief.
I backed up, I saw Darwin Cook on there. Thank you, Council. Back in June, you approved Ordinance 2023-25, giving code compliance the option to issue civil citations for nuisance violations instead of a criminal misdemeanor or the abatement process, putting a lien on the property, which I appreciate it worked very well and much more appropriate. You have the fee schedule marked Exhibit A in front of you showing the appeal fee for different violations in code, the smallest fee being $25 for civil garbage penalties and parking citations. We haven't set that fee for appealing these civil citations, and as administration, we recommend the lowest being $25 for the appeal fee. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions or comments? I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve Resolution 2023-77, a resolution of the Tooele City Council amending the Tooele City fee schedule regarding nuisance civil citation appeal fees.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Hanson, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 11 is Resolution 2023-78, a resolution of the Tooele City Council amending the Tooele City fee schedule regarding Dow James Recreation Complex use fees, presented by Darwin Cook, the Parks and Recreation Director.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for this time. The Dow James in our current fee schedule, we have two fees that are very, very similar because they kind of hit the same type of group of nonprofit groups. One is for health and recreation. The other one is community event nonprofit. Both of these usually are nonprofit groups. We are asking that we actually combine those two into a one fee. So we'd remove we just combine them into one fee, so it'd be $15 per hour with a maximum being $60 per day. We came up with the $15 an hour based upon our current block schedule of if you had 8 reservations in a month and you had 12 players on your team, that would be about what your fee would be. One of the issues that we're running into is when we do the block schedules for the seasons is our blocks are running on monthly time periods, but they don't start right at the beginning of the month and they don't end at the end of the month. So there's reservations that are tied up in a block that we can't offer to the public. This way, we can allow the teams or any group to go and make the reservations online. We approve them most of the time it's the same day, but the next day we approve the reservation and then they pay instantaneously. We don't have to wait to have them come down and pay or anything. They can pay online and facilitate this a little bit better. And they're only picking the days that they're actually using versus tying up an entire block of Tuesdays or Wednesday night or whatever have you.
Is there a maximum hour amount? Is it like the 4 hours because it caps at $60 a day, or?
Yeah, well, and that's just to cover any, like if they do a tournament or something. It's just kind of keeping the consistency with the other maximum day that we have for nonprofit groups.
Any other questions or comments?
Sounds good.
I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 2023-78, amending the Tooele City fee schedule regarding Dow James Recreation Complex use fees.
I'll second.
You'll second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Manzione and a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Great, Darwin. Item 12 is Resolution 2023-80, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with American Chiller Mechanical Services for chiller replacement at Tooele City Hall. This is presented by Darwin Cook.
I actually had mine in the wrong order, but that's okay. So the last year, part of our project was to replace the heating system in the building. So we got that completed. And our next phase of this upgrade to the heat HVAC system in the City Hall is to actually replace the chiller. And that's the big machine that's outside. You hear it running most of the time when you walk by. It has 2 pumps in it. One of them is giving us a lot of problems. It's 20 years old, and so it's just come time to upgrade that and to put a little bit of modern technology into it as well so that we can see it online or off-site, helping our maintenance staff be able to address things prior to them actually happening via alarms that are sent to them. So American Chiller is actually a state contractor. So their bid was their bid to do this project is $134,500. They will they'll begin the project in November and start replacing that chiller when the high demand on the chiller isn't needed as much. Believe it or not, the chiller is still actually used during the winter to create humidity and such, same as in your car. Your air conditioner, even though you're running the heat, it actually does kick on every once in a while. So, but the demand will be kind of low, so they'll be able to do that replacement at that time.
Any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-80 as stated.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall, a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 13 is Resolution 2023-81, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with American Chiller Mechanical Services for heating and air conditioning equipment at the Tooele City Animal Shelter presented by Darwin Cook.
Okay, currently the animal shelter is actually being operated on 2 systems. One of them is a hybrid swamp cooler heater system. We're having issues, and that system is actually the system that's actually providing the HVAC for the actual animal area. And then there's actually a normal traditional condensing unit that provides the HVAC for the office area. The issue that we're having at this facility is that the unit that was placed for the office facility is actually way overrated, and it's actually not very effective in controlling the building. It's doing a bunch of starts and stops, which has actually caused us to replace a lot of parts on the machine. It's not that it's, I believe this machine is about 6 years old. It's not that it's outdated or anything, it's just missized for this building. It also is using a recirculating air process, and so as you can imagine, our staff working in the environment with the animals, and that air is constantly being recirculated into the conditioning of the building. We decided to pursue looking at a heat pump type system that does not use recirculating air, and we can separate it in between the two different holding areas, the dog and the cat area, so that they're not sharing air, and then also the air that for our employees in their office area, so that they're not sharing that air out there. American Chiller is again the contractor we chose to do this. They are a state contractor, and they provided us a bid of $56,600 to replace this the AC unit. We are going to keep the actual and store the actual unit, the newer unit, and possibly use it on another facility that's a little larger than the animal shelter. But they will be able to begin this process as soon as we give them the okay. They'll order the equipment and then begin the switch out. So,
How big is the animal shelter, like square footage wise? I know, I thought it was small.
probably about 2,400 square feet, roughly.
Okay. So is the expensive part like to have separate airflow or something?
It's just the type of unit. It's just the type of unit that it is. So each unit will have its own cassette that will provide both heat and air conditioning.
Okay.
So we've had issues where the alarm's gone off that the building was at 48 degrees, which is below the state requirement for animal care. And then we've had other times during the summer where the temperature in there was 90 degrees, and probably for animal care, but also for human care. So,
And the smell, I'm sure the staff will appreciate that.
ammonia tends to increase quite a bit when it gets warm.
All right, any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve Resolution 2023-81, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with American Chiller Mechanical Services for heating and air conditioning equipment in the Tooele City Animal Shelter.
I'll second.
A motion from Councilman Hanson, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 14 is Resolution 2023-82, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with American Chiller Mechanical Service for heating and air conditioning equipment at the Tooele City Parks and Recreation Department office building, presented by Darwin Cook, the Parks and Recreation Director.
We're going to be spending a lot of time in Tooele, this American Chiller.
Yes, they, I would like to also state too, I forgot to mention this, that both the previous projects were general fund projects that were approved in the budget that was approved. On this particular one, so this is for our Parks and Recreation building that we've been remodeling, that we purchased 2 years ago, have been in the process of gutting it, and now we're in the process of putting it back together. American Chiller, we did just to test the state contract process. We did actually seek another bid for this project, and it was substantially higher than this. So we felt that we were probably in good hands following the state contract procedure and using them as a state contractor. The other bid was just shy of $300,000. So we did select them again. They are the contractor that originally put in, or that started doing the heating and the HVAC system here at City Hall. And we've had pretty good success with them, with no complaints so far. So for this building, the funding of this is, half of it is from the general funding, which was approved in the project, or in the budget approval. And then the other part of it is actually part of the PAR tax, because this building is going to have community rooms that will be used by the community for recreational purposes. So the quote that they gave us was $278,550. And this is for the entire building for the HVAC. This is both heating and air conditioning, and it's also a heat pump type system.
Do you have the sheetrock and everything in that building?
No, we're just, we're in the process of the four-way type work that needs to be done.
I toured that building. Darwin showed it to me, and it'll be a great amenity to the community.
It will be.
That area the public can use is going to be great, so this will be good. All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2023-82 as stated by Mr. Cook.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall, a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Thanks,
Great,
Darwin.
thank you.
And Darwin, I just roughly added that up, so Jamie, you can feel good today.
All right, item 15 is Resolution 2023-79, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving and ratifying a general consulting agreement with WSRP, Certified Public Accountants, regarding the financial statements for FY fiscal year 2023. This is presented by Casey Cruz, the Deputy Finance Director.
Good evening, Council. This is our annual consulting agreement with WSRP, who serves as our accounting consultants to prepare financial statements and provide general accounting services related to the annual audit for fiscal year 23. It's expected that the contract will cost $43,000, just because we will be required to perform a single audit this year because we still have ARPA funds. We had ARPA funds during fiscal year 23. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 2023-79, approving and ratifying a general consulting agreement with WSRP Certified Public Accountants regarding the city financial statements for fiscal year 23.
Second.
The motion from Councilwoman Manzione, a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Thank you. Item 16 is Resolution 2023-83, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving a memorandum of understanding with Tooele Technical College, T-Tech, for its Small Business Development Center, presented by Mayor Debbie Wynn.
Thank you, Chairman and Council. This resolution is asking for your approval for a memorandum of understanding with Tooele Technical College to support the Small Business Development Center. And you just heard the numbers of what is happening down there with the Business Development Center and the increase in businesses and jobs and all of the services that they provide our existing businesses. So we did just complete a 5-year MOU, and this is a new 5-year term. This year it will be the $15,000 that we have normally paid in the past, and because of those increased costs that Jess talked about, for the following 4 years, it will be $20,000 each year. This MOU is with Tooele City and the Technical College. But the funding for this, we do take out of the RDA. So that is where this is budgeted.
My computer's slow. You said this is a 5-year agreement again?
It is yes, a 5-year agreement, although either party can cancel this at 90 days with appropriate notice. There's no reason that we're going to do that, but there is always that in the contract. But like I say, they provide a wonderful service. We see the increase in the revenue that comes to the city, and I think that Jess and the college provide a great service to our community.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve Resolution 2023-79. No, wrong one. 83. A resolution of the Tooele City Council approving a memorandum of understanding with Tooele Technical College for a Small Business Development Center.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman Hanson, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye.
Thank you.
Passes 4-0. Thank you. Item 17 is Resolution 2023-84, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an end-user license agreement with Adlumin, Inc. for computer network security, presented by Chris Nelson, the Information Technology Director.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the City Council. The proposal for Adlumin MDR is one, as it mentions in here, it's a security program. Starting in February of 2023, we did an evaluation of our current logging systems, and these are the ones that take computer logs generated by firewalls, switches, and other computer components, and then puts them into one environment, analyzes them, and gives us reports about what's going on inside of our city network. And we decided at that time that we wanted to look into a different product to collect and aggregate those logs. Over 6 months, we evaluated 10 different MDR products, looking at a variety of features, including the ability to test machines for vulnerabilities, having fast support response times, expansive product feature set, and ease of use. At the conclusion of this program, we came to the realization that Adlumin would be the one that we would want to use. To give a little background, MDRs are managed detection and response. By adopting this program, we'll be having 24/7 automatic threat detection and protection. Right now, if an alert comes in at about 3 a.m., it's kind of hard to get the IT team up and awake and moving on it. But with a product like this, we have both AI and personal investigators who will be able to go in, see these things, and then put blocks to prevent people from gaining access to our network. Even though the product comes in at about $53,000, it's cheaper than hiring enough employees to monitor the network on the same scale. I mean, we'd need to be, our budget would need to be $3 or $4 million for IT alone in order to get that kind of protection. In addition, this helps us to meet some of our insurance requirements. Insurance companies obviously are having an increase in the amount of problems with ransomware and other people coming into the network trying to get data, and this would help with those costs. They also provide vulnerability testing to help us make sure our systems are up to date, and penetration testing to see if someone could get into the network, where they could go, and how we could best prevent against that. The contract that we would like to enter into is for 1 year, and so if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this time.
I just know the world that we live in, we definitely need all of these things, so And you're the expert. You talk about it, and I'm like, firewall's about all I got out of that, so.
Well, and
It's needed.
Same thing for the contract. So it's like, okay, that
Is there-
sounds really good.
Is there a reason you only do a 1-year term? Is
flexibility. So when we did the initial evaluation, it was actually only 2 months and we chose a product and we got some kind of pushback on the product we had chosen. So we went and did about a 3-month evaluation to really get in there and see the nuts and bolts of how the program worked. And to be honest, it didn't meet our expectations. We had a lot of issues. I'd prefer not to enter into a multi-year contract on something like this that costs as much as it does until we've at least had a little bit of time using the product. For this particular one, we've used it for about 4.5, 5 weeks or so right now. So we would like to enter into the 1 year and then take a look next year at extending it into multiple years, if that makes financial sense.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2023-84, resolution of Tualatin City Council approving an end-user license agreement with Aldium, I guess that's the name of it, for computer network services, security, I'm sorry.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 18 is Resolution 2023-85, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Nelson & Sons, Inc. for well house generator concrete pads and associated improvements and conduits presented by Jamie Grandpré, the Public Works Director.
Good evening, Council. I have a Resolution 85 for you tonight. This is related to our generator grant that we have been working on over the last several months. We did purchase a few generators for our culinary wells, which have been ordered. Transfer switches are starting to come in on those, and so that means generators are soon to follow. With that, I have to get these ready for the certain well houses that we're buying those for, and we need concrete generator pads and conduits installed to get those, get them homed and get them ready for their final destinations. And so we went out to bid, got 3 bids that came back, Nelson & Sons being our lowest responsible bidder at $182,521. We are also asking for a 5% contingency for this project. This will be second step in getting our generators up and going with installation coming probably shortly hereafter.
How many concrete pads is it?
It's 9.
9.
We have 9 generators.
So the generators were bought with a grant, is that
Yes.
correct? And
Yeah.
then we just pay for the pads and,
Yeah, we'll have a little bit left over with the generator grant money. That will probably help pay for some of this. And then we did budget for this and the install work. And so once we'll kind of get our generators, we'll use up most of the grant. This will use up the rest of it. And then the installation will probably use up the rest of the budget.
and this just keeps the wells working if the power goes out,
So, yep,
correct?
power goes out, these will kick on and keep them going. Right now, we don't have any, well, we have one, but it's on a new well house that hasn't been commissioned. It's not been turned over for operation yet. We do have another one that's up at the Public Works facility that's for Barra, and that's the second one, that's our other new well. And so those are our first 2 generators that we have, and then these other 9 will go on the existing well houses.
Perfect. I love it. Any other questions or comments?
May I just comment to council that this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago, we had an earthquake. And as we looked at our systems and said, you know, if the power goes down, we don't have water. And so Jared was instrumental in writing this grant and getting this grant and working with the government to get this grant. And now nearly every one of our wells will have a backup generator. So I'm just grateful to Public Works and again to Jared with Economic Development for making this happen. But again, it's a big deal.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
It's cheaper than HVAC.
Crazy.
And Mr. Chair, I was going to make a motion on this one that we approve 2023-85. Not just because this is a good thing to do and blah, 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 but it's like the first time in a long, long, long time that Darwin spent more money than Jamie. It's just
In a single meeting.
All right, so we have a motion. Is there?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman McCall and a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Item 19 is invoices and purchase orders. This will be presented by Holly Potter, the Deputy City Recorder, right? Okay. That wasn't on my paper. I just got that somewhere up there.
Kittens, man, I'm telling you.
Okay, so we've got 2 invoices for you. The first one is for Ken Garf Ford for a 2023 Ford F-250 Darwin, a building maintenance vehicle. This was approved by the council via email. We have received this vehicle. We're just asking you to ratify this one tonight. And the price was $50,625. And then the next one is also to Ken Garf Ford for a 2024 F-250 for the parks maintenance vehicle. Again, this is one that was approved by email, but we had to order this one, so we don't have this one just yet. They said it should take about 4 months. And again, we're asking you to ratify this one as well. And this one is at $47,761.74.
Any questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we approve the invoices.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Hanson, a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
And Councilman Brady, I also vote aye. That passes 4-0. Item 20 is our minutes from August 16th, 2023, the City Council work meeting, and August 16th, 2023, City Council business meeting. Any corrections?
I have one thing, and I apologize for not sending it in advance, but on page 3 of the business meeting, in regards to the tax hearing, it says they will be holding the tax rate from last year. I just wonder if it could be changed to the city or something rather than a pronoun. Other than that, it's fine.
I support that. The city, is that
Yeah, I guess.
the council?
Or Tooele City, the council, yeah.
Any preference?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. What sounds better? Tooele City will be holding the tax rate from last year. How's that? Tooele City.
Sounds great. Okay.
Works.
Someone like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes with that change.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
And Councilman Brady, I also vote
Well, I could
aye.
use it all day.
Item 21 is to adjourn. We're adjourned at 8:13.
Yeah, because no, I forgot my